including being overweight. So, scientifically, you cannot drink alkaline water and it makes your cells apolytic. The closer you are to nature, the healthier you'll be.
Hello, hello. Happy Saturday, everyone. I am Carolyn, and you are in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zari, the nutritionist. As you are coming in, please go ahead and share the live. Come on in, share the live so everyone can be a part of the conversation. We have some great things lined up for you today. So as you're coming in, drop your comments to good morning to you. Let me know where you are tuning in from. All right, so let's just go ahead and start off with that. Here we are with the topics that we're going to be discussing today. Are all types of chewing gums healthy? That's a good question. GLP, who's taking them, and and with what medical oversight? All right. And last but not least, science-backed secrets or principles that, excuse me, I'm looking at this incorrectly. Science-backed secrets or principles that can dramatically reduce cancer risk. Excuse me. Okay, I got it now. So great topics, Dr. Zarif. Go ahead and join me here on the stage so we can get it going.
All right, that's all right. We looking good, It's just a little warm up. You get it together, loosen up a little bit,
Right.
relax, and just own it. It's beautiful. So we all get into that. Don't worry about it. We're moving ahead, and thank you very much, Carolyn, for starting off with such a great opening. Along with those people that are here today, I want to talk to you about some stuff that we pretty much do on an everyday basis. There's nothing new about it. But what I do want you to do is to be active in listening. And active listener meaning that I want you to take some kind of action from what you hear, and constructive action to help you and yourself and those people that are important to you. So
Absolutely. Yes.
we're going to go ahead and get started because we know the time flies. Okay. So start off with the sugar. The question is are all types of chewing gum unhealthy? Now you've heard a whole lot of things about this, and as you come up, and I've heard it, you've heard it when people actually are chewing gum. Those people that chew gum all the time is some people that you hardly ever see. They're people that aren't chewing. I mean, that you hardly ever see that they're not chewing gum. And we want to like take advantage of this forum to bring to you some of those things that you want to ask questions about, that you've been wondering about, and those things that you can do something about. Okay. Uh, One of the things that I know that is super important to you is breath. You want your breath to smell good, but let's look at that a little while. If your breath is kicking, as they say, is just most likely a problem, or you overlooking the importance of flossing. Things that flossing is made so very easy today because they have like little flossers that you can just simply use and then you can dispose of. So there's no excuse for that. And uh, let's just get on back to some of the types. You hear that they most people just say gum, but there are different types of gum, and that's why we want to go with this today. So it depends on what kind of chewing gum you're talking about and how often you use it. I'm going to break this on down so you will be able to put it in motion. Okay, meaning that make it work. Don't listen to me talk about stop eating gum, or these are some of the gums that you can eat and you don't do anything about it. That's useless. That's a waste of time. So first of all, let's go into the myth and the reality. Now, the idea that all chewing gum is unhealthy, first of all, is a myth, but only partly. Now, traditional chewing gum and natural gums differ significantly in health impact. Your sugar free gum, especially those with xylitol and stevia, can actually have oral health benefits. Now, the studies show that it helps neutralize acid in your mouth and increases saliva. It also reduces the bacteria that can cause cavities. So, this again, this is your sugar free gum. Okay. So, keep in mind that there's not just that most people actually they chew on the sugar sweetened gum. So on the other hand, this can actually contribute to your tooth decay, your gum disease, and it can also raise your blood sugar levels. So that is definitely things that we don't want to happen. Some of the potential benefits, like you have for instance, stimulation of saliva, and this helps to wash away food articles and acids. Now, xylitol based gum can inhibit the Streptococcus mutans. Now, Streptococcus mutans is a bacteria responsible for your cavities. Yeah, that's great news. So, write that down so that this will remind you that when you are chewing sugary gums, you're feeding the bacteria, which means that you're accelerating the tooth decay. Now, artificial sweeteners like aspartame and the acesulfame, if I can get it, the acesulfame K actually, along with the aspartame, often used in the sugar-free gum, may have long-term metabolic or gut microbiome effects, though the evidence is mixed. So again, these when you hear these big words like aspartame and acesulfame, these are or acesulfame K. These are artificial sweeteners. So these are the sweeteners that are used, especially when they're marketing a product and they can use legally that there's no sugar added. No sugar added. Now they'll have these artificial sweeteners, and so that allows them to say without any problem that there's no sugar added, zero sugar. But when it comes to xylitol and other sugars that we will be mentioning today, it's good to know the difference between those artificial sweeteners and some of the natural sweeteners themselves. Now, chewing gum continuously triggers the digestive enzyme secretion and stomach acid production, no doubt about it, even when no food follows. So, over time, this can lead to bloating, it can lead to gas, it can lead to discomfort, and swallowing excess air. That's what many people get, especially after certain gastrointestinal operations. So swallowing excess gas, which is aerophagia, this can go on, endlessly if you don't do something about it. Now, the disruption of hunger and satiety cues. This is something that's very important too, because when they're disrupted, you disrupt that rhythm of being hungry or satiety cues, the taste and the enjoyment of eating. This can pose quite a huge challenge. Now, for some people, the constant gum chewing can interfere with the natural circadian rhythm. And I've talked about this over and over with the rhythm diet principles that I've emphasized as a key for metabolic balance. As we continue, we're going to next the ingredients to watch out for. And as I was just saying, the artificial sweeteners, aspartame, sucralose, sorbitol, all of these may disturb your gut bacteria. We talked about good and bad bacteria, quote, but this is very important. Again, aspartame and these are sweeteners, along with sucralose and sorbitol. Now, you've heard other ones that people use also, and because there are many of them. Then there's also the plasticizers. The plasticizers and the synthetic rubber base. These, I would say, substances, actually plasticizers along with the synthetic rubber base. Many of the gums, they actually use the butadiene styrene, and there's also the polyethylene, which are non-digestible plastics. Can you believe that? The plastic that you the gum that you're chewing have a rubber base, a synthetic rubber base in most cases. So that's why the some of the natural gums, or the companies that have gone out of their way to market and to sell these natural gums, as rare as it seems, but it's definitely worth checking out what you are chewing on day to day. And then there is titanium dioxide. Titanium dioxide is a whitening agent, and this is linked to the inflammation and the possible DNA damage in animal studies. Now, that means that it's not found in the human studies, not as yet, but there has been this particular agent has been linked to inflammation and possible DNA damage in just the animal studies so far. But that gives us some clue that something may be deleterious to humans. The healthy alternatives. Now, if you enjoy chewing gum, uh, for focus and stress. Maybe I remember seeing Michael Jordan walk out strutting on the court, and he would have gum. And so I remember I said, "Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that might be something to help me relax when I'm playing ball." And when I would go out on the court, I have my gum, and I was like, "Yeah, Michael Jordan did. I know it's got to work for me." So first of all, I played with the mouthpiece, and the gum would keep getting on the mouthpiece, and that just was ugly. And but the other thing that happened with this is that I was chewing gum, and when I like I'm saying look out, like on we're on defense, or I'm open, or whatever I was saying, I would end up almost or swallowing the gum. So that would interrupt with my breathing, and I would be So before you do those things, sometimes some TV can just make so many things look so cool, especially when you're moving in slow motion. Okay, now you have the Chico based gum, and the Chico or Kiko made is from the sapodilla tree resin, and the sapodilla tree resin, just like some of the mastic gum from the mastic tree. This has been around forever, and these are some of the healthy alternatives that are used to make gum today. And of course, we want to remind you that xylitol only gum, the xylitol only gum comes from birch or corn fiber. Now, these are biodegradable, they're free of plastic, and much safer to the body and the environment. So, you want to get the xylitol only gum. Remember that the other gums may run into some serious problems. Again, the word Kiko, or I've heard people say Chico, but it's the Kiko based gum made from the sapodilla tree resin, is another healthy alternative, just like the mastic gum from the mastic tree. Now, this mastic tree is like an ancient Greek remedy for digestion. So you'll hear a lot about this as you study your herbology. Now, the bottom line that we're talking about here is chewing gum isn't inherently unhealthy, but most commercial gums contain synthetic and metabolic stressors. Now, occasionally, the use of the natural or the xylitol based gum can be fine, even if you uh, look for some of the beneficial other compositions as you breaking down the gum. But the habitual and or the plastic based gum can interfere with the digestive rhythms and expose you to unwanted chemicals. So again, I want to repeat that. Occasional use of natural or xylitol based gum can be fine and even it can be beneficial, but habitual or plastic based gum can interfere with your digestive rhythms and expose you to unwanted chemicals. So keep that in mind. I'm going back up to Care. Care, take it away.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. I appreciate that. Something that I like to do is chew gum. So I'm gonna make sure I'm looking at. Well, I mean, okay. Let me kind of go back. I chew gum, not necessarily something that I do all the time. So when I do decide to chew gum, I'm going to make sure it's the one that's not plastic based, like you mentioned earlier. So that's good to know because I think sometimes it's true. The reasons for people chewing gum, it could be, oh, you want to freshen your breath, or you just may want to have something. I don't know, like instead of like maybe eating candy or so, the gum would last longer, so it'd be there and it'd be just something that kind of almost relaxes you in a way. So it's good to know that there are healthier alternatives to the other ones that may be out there that may be right in our faces and we don't realize it.
Yes, that's a good point. Yeah, if you like chewing gum, it is worth making sure that you're not eating in the plasticizers, the other the fake sweetened gums, especially like when you're traveling and you see something that looks all nice and cute, but um, it can definitely be an introduction or an invitation to challenging your teeth. And if you keep doing it over time, that's when people get, they start getting, especially when they accelerate the bacteria, it can cause the breaking down of your sulcus, which is your gum line, and it can also eat at your enamel. And this is something that you end up with another disease, which is called pyorrhea. So it just, just one thing after the another. So it is worth it. I understand when people's breath is like, they're uncomfortable, they just ate garlic or maybe some food or something, and you're out and you're moving about. And people that I know that I'm family and I'm close to, we're like this, close. And it'll be good to take a little time and find out, okay, I need to get something. I want to get something that is xylitol based or natural based.
Yes, absolutely. Just before we go on, I just wanted to shout out just a couple of people here that are always here to support. So, Allison Gentle, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello,
Woohoo!
good to see you. Hey, Denise Kane, good morning to you. We appreciate you for joining us today. And Yolanda Rogers, good morning, blessings, Big Mama, Dearborn, Michigan. What up, though, my people?
Hey,
Hello to you. Thank you so much for joining. We always appreciate you guys here dropping comments, sharing the live, giving a thumbs up, all the things that we need to grow our channel, to grow, just the exposure, giving Dr. Zarif that stage or the audience that we know that he's deserving. So thank you so much for that.
all right. Okay, so let's get down now. We're getting ready to talk a little bit about GLP-1 drugs, and this is very important. Now, who's taking them and with what medical oversight? So, if you're doing this on your own, in other words, you want to change that. as with most things in medicine, the answer is actually it depends. And it depends on what. The GLP-1 drugs are glucagon like peptide 1 receptor antagonists. It's long, but I want you, that's why we abbreviated GLP-1. So again, glucagon like peptide 1 receptor antagonists are powerful tools, and they have both proven benefits and they have proven risk. Whether they are safe or they're dangerous depends on who's taking them, and for what reason, and what's the dose, and with what medical oversight. And this is true that you can purchase GLP 1 drugs over the counter. Well, guess what? That's you cannot. It may look like that, but no, you cannot. For instance, there is a rumor that you can go to Costco and get GLP drugs, but you can go there, but you would have to have a prescription just like you would in the pharmacy. And they've made that in some of the Costco's possible for you to use that your prescription from your PCP or your primary care physician, and this will help you out tremendously. Um, I'm going to give you like a balanced overview of what is known and what remains uncertain about the GLP ones and in the rest of this year. Some things are going to change as we move on to 2026, including their benefits, the risk, and caveats. So let's move ahead with that. Um, Now, remember, the important thing here is for you to extrapolate those things that work for you. Okay, don't get caught up in I didn't understand that word and this word and all that. And look, we just go ahead. You can search while I'm talking and move on, but don't get caught up in one thing. Back to GLP-1. It's a GLP-1 hormone is actually a gut hormone that signals to the pancreas to release insulin, and when the glucose is high, that's what happens. The pancreas releases the glucose, and it suppresses glucagon release. It slows gastric emptying, and it also reduces your appetite. Now, something with those types of benefits, wow, it's like you would say this would really and should really work. So this is why you're hearing so many compliments about the GLP-1 receptor antagonist. Now, the drugs that mimic or they enhance these GLP-1s are widely used widely used for type 2 diabetes. I'm sure that you've already heard that because that was the initial idea with the GLP-1, the using it for type 2 diabetes, mellitus 2, type 2 diabetes, period. And increasingly, this was to be used for obesity and weight management. The thing that's, at one time, people wanted to get, a big butt. Another time, other people wanted big breasts. Sometimes there have been times that the trending thing was to have big breast and big butt. Then it was junk in the trunk. You wanted to have a big, really big behind. And sometimes, that particular individual doesn't have big breasts, but that was the thing. That was supposed to be the sexy thing. And now, I think we're not too far from the Brazilian butt lift, the BBL. But there are so many people now that are reversing that. They're getting some of that work reversed, and some are taking all of the silicone out of their bodies now, but they want to be small. Now, I'm not going to embarrass anybody or say anything that I wouldn't say in anybody's face. and I want to respect everybody's privacy. But there are so many people that are going without doing some of the exercise. They're not doing eating this real healthy food. And that's the whole thing, that crazy saying, you want the cake and you want to eat it too, huh? If I get some cake, yeah, I want to eat it too. But anyway, is the main thing is to make sure that what you're doing is healthy and it does not increase the risk of disease and illness. And that is where we have to start. When we're taking these particular drugs, you want to make sure that these are drugs that are helpful to you and not something that will eventually hurt you down the road. And it hasn't been around long enough to even know that yet, to tell you the truth. Remember years ago there was fen, and then there was Redux, and everybody was taking it, and they saw they loved what they saw. But then later on there was a mitral valve prolapse. The heart just fell apart after taking these drugs that would help people lose weight, and make they that's what they were looking for, especially those people that were suffering from obesity and diabetes and heart disease, and those the people that were having strokes and all that. They this seems to be it would seem to be the answer then. But drugs that mimic or that actually enhance the GLP, the ones that are called GLP-1 receptor antagonists, or the GLP-1 RAs, you will hear that also. These are widely used for type 2 diabetes and increasingly for the obesity and weight management challenges. They are often chosen not just for the blood sugar control, but for cardiovascular benefits and weight loss, which itself helps to metabolic health. So, as you see, there are just so many. It seems to be so many things that are working for, like in Oprah, for instance. Oprah looks amazing now. I've never seen her look as good as she looks today. It's just really amazing.
All right, Dr. Zarich maybe having some technical difficulties. Let me see if we can get him back here. But just let me know what you all think so far of the information that he is sharing. I know it's great information. Let me see here, Dr. Zarich. Let me see if I can get him back. All right, there you are. Hold on 1 minute. Let me get you back in the studio. Just go ahead and bring your PowerPoint up too. We are live. I'm gonna go ahead and bring you on the screen. You can speak, but you can also, while you're doing that, bring your PowerPoint in. So you can just
Okay. Now we have, let me see, I'll go there. Let's see. Okay. Is that good? Okay. All right. Yeah. So we look at we want to. I think we were talking about how beautiful, how good Oprah looks now, and she really does look good. Although people are like, oh, yeah, something might happen and something might not happen that is dangerous. But a lot of times, people, obesity is a stress on the cardiovascular system. Obesity makes everything else that you have even worse. Obesity also causes the risk of other things like disease, illnesses, infections and even death that's a higher risk. So there are some good things about where we are now as far as the eating of certain foods or making certain uh, suggestions or selections for what you want to put in your body. And you'll hear many people talk about these things because they're to tell you the truth, they can be really spooky because a person is only hoping, like when they really don't know, they're really just hoping, aren't they? It's just like, I hope that this works out well. And then when you find out that it does work out well, because it looks like they have really good balance. Even what's the woman's name? The very heavy set woman. Um, she's a vocalist. Where's Care? Lizzo, yeah. Lizzo, she's even smaller. Now she had a lot to lose there, but nevertheless, she's getting the kind of results that she's looking for every time she's been interviewed. It seems like she's very, very positive about it. Uh, they often these things that people are doing are often chosen not just for keeping the blood sugar down or fighting obesity, but they really want to get something that finally they can lose weight. It's just uncomfortable. There's a lot of extra drama that comes along with obesity. And I cheer those people that are getting some kind of help there. Will it work for years and years to come? Well, we'll see. For those of us that are very interested in that outcome, we'll definitely see. The cardiovascular benefits and weight loss benefits, which itself helps the metabolic health. This is really important because the GLP-1 drugs also are a part of the metabolic functions of the body. Those things like breaking down digestion, for instance, the way that we are the different food cues or eating cues, all of those things, and we're finding out more and more about that as we continue with our constant knowledge that we have about the GLP-1s. And there's benefits and there's strength of the GLP-1 therapy. Now, I'm just going to go over here's a GLP drugs that do well, and then the benefit of the glycemic control. That's really important. Glycemic control is like when you're eating, for instance, a certain food, and it gives you a number from 0 to 100 as to how fast that food breaks down to sugar. Okay, and the higher the number, the better it is. Like if you have a number like up to 100, you will have, that means that this is a food that breaks down slower. The other food that has the smaller numbers, these are foods that break down very fast. And there's the different trials that people have been taking. They'll find that it is true, and it will cause you to change your blood sugar habits. Those numbers can fly high. So it's very important to, not only just eat in a different way, but make sure that you're studying because there's things like the benefits of the GLP-1. Another one would be heart and kidney, for instance, for heart and kidney protection. Now, the evidence and the notes here is the meta-analysis that show reduced risk of major cardiovascular events and beneficial effects of kidney outcomes in many patients, especially with type 2 diabetes. So we might be onto something. One thing that we can applaud is that we are continuing to research for more and better outcomes. Now, although generally considered safe for many, the GLP drugs are not without risk. They are not perfect. They are not flawless. So keep that in mind when you're taking these drugs. Now the drugs are coming. They used to be just in injectable, but now instead of just injecting the GLP-1 in your bloodstream, now there are different supplements or capsules that one can take orally now. Now, the let's just look just for a moment because earlier we talked about some of the gastrointestinal problems when we were talking about chewing the gum. But the gastrointestinal symptoms here when you take in the GLP-1 drugs are like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation. See, that's two extremes, and sometimes that's very, very hard to determine how how much to use is it's like, especially at the start of the therapy, it can be very, very difficult to understand. However, there are other benefits like delayed gastric emptying, slower, this means a slower digestion, and this is inherent to their mechanism, that it can interfere with the absorption of other medications and dosing before surgery. There's also some discomfort, bloating, and indigestion. All these are also reported, along with the injection site reactions. They're common for the injectable forms, and that's what we just talked about. These are typically tolerable and often lessen over weeks or with dose adjustments. So you can a lot of things you can change the outcome by change down titrating or increasing the dose. But again, work with a doctor. You need to work with a physician that knows their stuff. If you're still carrying around that chip on your shoulder about what has happened in the past, that's understandable, but it's not totally necessary, because now you have more tools. You can ask more enlightened questions, and you can get better reaction from your doctors. Okay, all right. Now, if we want to talk about who might have the higher risk, again, the GLP therapy is less ideal or requires extra caution in people who have a history of the pancreatitis. And we just talked about the pancreas because we had to talk about what the increase of insulin when our blood sugar rises. And then the history, they can also have a history of pancreatitis. This again, what I'm reading to you is who might have a higher risk, and have a person or family history of medullary thyroid cancer, or the MEN2, or the MEN2. You can also, if you have severe kidney disease, or the GFR is very low. All of these things are super important. And then it comes down to pregnancy, because it was just told on TV that don't take Tylenol if you're pregnant, from some goofballs. But I'll just go ahead and bypass that. But if you're pregnant or you're breastfeeding, safety in the pregnancy is not well established, especially if you're taking the GLP one. That's what we're talking about. Remember that if you're pregnant or you're breastfeeding, the safety of pregnancy is not well established, and that just simply means that there isn't enough evidence to show that this is not harmful for carrying a child, your prenatal care. Okay, now take some of the multiple, take multiple other medications and sensitive to the GI absorption. So if you're on other, if you're taking other gastrointestinal or gastric supplements, and that you should be also check with your doctor so there aren't any contraindicators there. All right. So, lastly, I just want to share with is it safe or is it dangerous? That's what it really gets down to it. And I think a fair conclusion would be for many of the patients with type 2 diabetes, obesity, and high cardio metabolic risk, the GLP receptor antagonists are relatively safe. And then when you use them under medical supervision and their benefits often outweigh their risk. As you see now, most people, we haven't had any really terrible news about this other than we don't know what's going to happen in the future, and nobody does. So right now, with all the wonderful people that are taking that risk, no bad news there. Um, they are they are not dangerous in the blanket sense, but they're not risk free. And just because they're not risk free uh, doesn't make them dangerous. Okay, so but that's a blanket sense of whether they're dangerous or not. We're looking pretty good now. They require thoughtful patient selection, monitoring the dose escalation, and awareness of the side effects. Like any potent drug, the scary thing is like who gets them and what should be the dose, what comorbidities. We talked about that earlier, how closely they're monitored, all that's important. And in short, the GLP-1s are tools, not weapons. And they're very powerful tools that can also do a lot of good, but also demand respect and caution. Let's go to care.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. I appreciate that. I There's a comment here. Let's see here. I'm sorry. I will just go to Denise Kane, starting off by saying, "Thanks for the info on gum chewing. I will do better from now on." I know that's how I feel too, as far as with gum chewing. Um, let's see. Dr. James Thompson says another popular weight loss drug was Orlistat.
Yeah.
It worked, but people had more gas and bloating and anal leakage. So,
Yes.
yeah, that's definitely a reason for it to not be popular anymore. But
Exactly.
definitely wanted to point that out to you. And thank you so much for that, Dr. Zarif, because, I think whenever it comes to like Ozempic, and isn't there another one like Wagovi? There's another one
Yes.
too that I remember hearing about. And there's this one. Well, I won't say that, but there's some people who, yes, they take the drug and they look great, but again, the results, like what's going on internally, that becomes an issue. Because I remember I was watching a video, and it was uh, Ozzy Osbourne's wife. I forget her name.
Yes, Sharon, I think.
Sharon, yes, and she was talking about just all the horrible things that was going on with her body. Even when she stopped taking the drug, it pretty much damaged her body, and she couldn't get back to normal.
Yes.
What she was doing. So I know that people, they may even overdo it. They may even take more. Um, going against doctor's orders and things like that. Or even with celebrities, really, the celebrity is the one that tells the doctor what to do. And then that becomes an issue. So just great information that you're sharing. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, and thank you, Dr. James. I really appreciate the comments there. Make sure that you continue to follow because Dr. James and I we're going to be working together. I'm sure we're going to kick it off. in a few months, and it's going to be absolutely wonderful. We're two very busy men, so it really takes a lot, planning and getting our aligning our schedules. But I'm looking forward to it. Dr. James is brilliant and very, very. He's about what he talks about. And thank you, Dr. James, for that video. I saw you jogging and gave me a shout out. I really appreciate that. I was like, whoa, yeah. but but I really appreciate it. That's my brother, Dr. James, brilliant, and we're going to bring you a lot of that brilliance coming up. So please be very attentive to hear why you're here with us, but also commit to seeing us every week, because we put it together for you, and that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. I wanted to go over some of the when we talk about all of this stuff, some science to back secrets or the principles that can dramatically reduce cancer risk. Now, when you talk about cancer, there's all kinds of cancer. But to this day, people still say that I heard she got the cancer, or he got the cancer, or yeah, he gonna catch the cancer. So for those that still say that, just remember that's incorrect. There can be cancer of the blood, cancer of the skin, cancer of the mouth, cancer of the eye, cancer of the digestive system, colorectal. There's a lot of leukemia. There's different types of cancer, and it can affect the entire body. And this is one of its only is second the second fastest or the second largest killer of our population in America is cancer. So a lot of cancer has been connected directly to what we eat. Some cancer has been connected to the just the people that DNA, or there's your gene pool. So there's been a lot of different findings as far as cancer goes, but there are some rules. For instance, like people that have some kind of carcinoma, stand out in the sun, especially when it's at its highest. And usually in America, the highest point or the zenith of the sun is between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. So if you're out there exposed at that time, and I know people want to get brown, that's a trip. That just shot through my mind. People out there, wanting to get brown, but then I'm just going to retract what I'm about to say, because it's going to take us off to another land. But anyway, this is really important. So we want to definitely make sure that we are finding out the information. And even, smoking, even if you're around, just if you're burning leaves, smoke, or burning an incense, or the incense, or if you have candles. Even candle burning will pollute the air and is not fresh air going to your lungs. And that, if you're exposed to that long enough and you do it frequent enough, then you can have a challenge with that. So let's just talk about. I want to get into some of the science-based secrets, and one of the science-based secrets we talk about the plant-based whole and rhythmic foods. This is very, very important, and why it works is a predominantly plant-based anti-inflammatory diet actually floods the body with phytonutrients, antioxidants, and fibers that protect your DNA and support your detoxification pathways. As I said before, and I know people were saying, "Oh no, I don't believe that." our body continually detoxifies itself. Okay, there are things that we can drink, some things that we can eat that make us feel maybe more a cleaner sense, or something that you're flushing out. Uh, as Queen Letitia said, she needed a fat flush one time. You know, these the flushes and the cleansing and all of that, they're doing something to your body, but your body is basically being kept in balance by the detoxification of particular pathways. Now, core principles. Core principles are the cruciferous vegetables, the broccoli, the kale, the cauliflower, the cabbage. All of these contain some of the uh, 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 indoles, like the indole 3, carbonol, for instance. You hear a lot about this, especially when you talking about kale and broccoli, compounds that just activate the tumor suppression genes, and they also promote detox through the liver. See, everything is assigned. You went years. There's people that never had any of those, like certain drinks, and say, "Oh, I detox myself." But I won't spend a whole lot of time on that, because I know some people are making. That's how they feed their families, by selling certain products. So I'll just go ahead and stop right there, but I do want you to do your due diligence, find out what you're putting in your body and why are you putting it in your body. Like your things we know that are safe, like your berries and your grapes, your green tea, turmeric, garlic. All of these provide these polyphenols and the antioxidants that actually block the free radicals in and inhibit some of the angiogenesis. Angiogenesis, by the way, is just a process of tumors used to grow new blood vessels. So this is just is worth reading a little bit so that you'll get more information. Now, I'll do talk a little bit about the animal foods, because let's face it, realistically, most of the earth eats animal foods, and you will have a large portion of the earth is quite healthy. We're not just like a lot of sick nations, but they are higher risk that people take when they eat meat. So I would just say limit animal products and produce foods. I'm sorry, in processed foods, because you want to eat those produce foods. Produce is usually the first department that you walk in the stores. But in supermarkets, they've changed so much today because there's so many of them. But back to the limiting of the animal products and processed foods. For instance, just like some of the processed meats that deli meats that people eat. Did you know that there are no tests there? And the reason that they use those particular parts of the meat is because they're not going to throw those away. They're going to process those meats, and you're going to get hot dogs. If you saw hot dogs and sausages made, I think you would change your mind about eating them. And then you also have potted meat. You have spam, all of these are just really, really something else to really keep in mind. And this is what myself and this is what Dr. Thompson, James Thompson, this is what we're going to be talking about. A lot of the things that you can hear about now, but you can do something about this right after the show. You can go right to the kitchen now and start changing that kitchen thing where you just have canned foods and your sugar, your flour, and all that stuff. But use those cabinets for those foods that make you healthier. Now back again to this the limited food products and processed foods. The meat charred at high temperatures, and this is something else because that's heterocyclic amines. The heterocyclic amines. This is what happens when you char it. You know, when you have those little stripes on there, and those have the potential for cancer. Processed meats you're going to run into a lot of nitrates along with the nitrosamines. Uh, 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 I'm sorry, the nitrosamines. And the nitrosamines are, again, what we get when we overcook or we have um, the hyper temperatures, the very, very hot temperatures. And when we fry something or prepare something with very, very hot temperatures, we definitely can produce the nitrates and nitrosamines. And dairy also, because dairy is just like liquefied meat. That's all this is, liquid meat. And the dairy from the hormone treated cows, they actually increase the cancer risk. Remember, we are talking about those foods that you eat should do one or two things. One, it can increase your risk for illness, or two, it can reduce the risk of illness. And whenever you eat meat, you are increasing your risk of illness. Now, I want you to also remember to follow the eating circadian patterns, and these are the patterns that I've been teaching for seems like a lifetime. Your digestive enzymes, the insulin response, your cellular repair mechanisms, all of these, follow these on a daily basis as far as your daily rhythms. And that is to eat at the same time, eat the same amount of food, those smaller helpings of food. You want to make sure that you're not eating until you're sick or your stomach feels like it's about to burst, because I know some people love that. That's their euphoria. But remember, in my rhythm diet, one of the rhythm diet principles is to eat in sync with your body's clock. That's light, plant rich meals earlier in the day, and you're going to stop. The little fasting only goes about 2 hours between meals, or a minimal intake after sunset. And that's you want a very small amounts. Just keep that in mind. I'll keep repeating it so that you'll get it. Now, the actual hydration and detoxification, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. In the water is the medium through which every detox process occurs, but quality and timing really matters. Some of the key strategies is that if you drink filtered or spring water, not chlorinated or fluorinated water, which can increase the oxidative burden. Then we have the idea or the habit of drinking water between meals, not during meals. So if you can drink that water between meals, you will also help to reduce your hunger, so that you won't be, if you wait too long, you're going to be feel like you're starving, and then you overdo it. So to avoid diluting your digestive enzymes, most people, that can be something that people know, no, that doesn't happen. Look, you can, if you drink a small amount. Water, when you're actually drinking or having a meal or sipping on something to keep you from choking, that's fine. But having like a hot dog contest where they eat the whole hot dog and then they drink water behind it. Whew, they got some stomachs, don't they? Well, drink water again between the meals as much as you can, not during meals. And if you do, just make sure that you just reduce that habit as much as you can. Okay. Lastly, I just want to talk about too, include the chlorophyll rich foods, and that's like your spinach, your parsley, and your spirulina. And lemon water in the morning can help you to actually neutralize acids and flush toxins. So that just helps to initiate urination. Okay, and when you void, sometimes you'll have a strong stream, and other times you have hardly a stream. You dribble, and then that's why reiterate making sure that you get a checkup, get an examination to make sure that your bladder, that your kidneys, that your prostate, all of these are working very well. And women, the same thing, except for the prostate, of course. Okay. All right. So there we have it. This is very, very important that you take these precautions because these precautions are very necessary to keep your life balanced, to keep you strong, to keep you focused, and such a great example to make for other people. If you're about being healthy, I'll say this in closing, that it's not just about what you eat, but it's about eating and resting. It's not about just you eating and resting, but it's about eating and resting along with exercise. And it's not about eating, resting, and exercise all by itself. Make sure that you're in a lovable, productive, constructive atmosphere, or should I say environment, so that you'll be able to continue and to experience this wonderful life at its optimum. Now let's go back to care.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. I appreciate it. I'm sure everyone else, I can speak for everyone else, saying that they appreciate the information that you shared as well. My Leah, hello, welcome. She says, Royal Rising, Z and Carolyn. Hello, good to see you here. Thank you so much for everyone that joined us here today in the Mind of Nature. Remember when Dr. Zarif and I we come together and we bring this information to you, just understand that Dr. Zarif, really, he's doing all the research and doing doing all the things that he does because he is a genius at what he does, and we do appreciate you bringing the information to us. Like you do, Dr. Zarif. It really is for me. I appreciate it, and I'm sure I can speak again for everyone else that's watching that's saying that they appreciate that information as well. So thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for that.
Oh, Carrie, that was very, very sweet of you. Thank you very much. Um, I wanted to read over here from Yolanda Rogers. This is very, very good. The Olympic, she says, the Olympic that I read is destroying them. I think what she meant, Ozempic here. But the Ozempic that I read is destroying them. It's talking about tennis player Serena Williams looks bad. Uh, she says, I be reading that they can't stop and their faces are sinking like the Kardashian baby daddy Scott, just say Dickus?
Disick. Uh huh.
Disick? And a a few others. She goes on to say that it's a lifestyle change from what I've studied, and no quick fix. It's dangerous, especially the ones that are trying to stay in shape after. I've lost 95 pounds naturally and diabetic diabetic free for 6 years now, thanks to Dr. Zari. No, she didn't write that. Uh, uh, Yolanda also goes and says that she had to come to over here to Instagram by her Facebook froze, but that's okay. That's what you do, have that option set up. Thank you for that. You are what you eat. She goes on to say, pick nutritious foods. And once I saw how deli meat was made, I stopped. Grilling is bad also. Thank you very much for those things. Before we go, if Dr. James, if you'd like to leave us with some wonderful words, please feel free and put them in the where we can let everybody know, because I know you have some, that's another wonderful genius in our midst. Okay.
His
So,
I appreciate you both. I don't. That
thank
was
you.
actually put in there before you said that, but I just wanted to go ahead and put that in there.
Ah, great. Well, that's beautiful. Beautiful. Another wonderful show. Thank you, everybody. Carrie, I'm going to let you go ahead and close.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Zari. For anyone that's watching, even the replay, we are live 8 a.m. Pacific time every Saturday here on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram. So, again, thank you all so much. We really do appreciate everyone that joins us, drops a comment, shares, give us likes, because those are the things that's going to help us grow. So, again, thank you all so much for that. Dr. Zarif, back to you.
And if you haven't, remember my book, Slaves of the Tongue. I have another book coming out also, but right now, Slaves of the Tongue, look, you can turn to any page and you can get great knowledge out of this. It's really important. You can go on drzarif.com and order your book today. I'm Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist.